Well, we got some good news for Canadian coaster enthusiasts because it looks like Canada's Wonderland will be adding a roller coaster in 2019. What we know for sure is that a permit was filed by the park that included a brief section of detail mentioning the word future roller coaster. And using the information that we have, we're able to guess approximately where it will be going. Looks to be to the left of Vortex and to the right of Windseeker and Skyhawk. There's this big old patch of grass right next to this lake and where Vortex goes. So naturally, people are going to wonder what it could be. So that's what I'm going to be discussing in this video. Now, having been to Canada's Wonderland and seeing this plot of land, I'm very curious to see what the park is thinking, because that plot of land is large, but it's not huge. Like, I can't see personally a big old B&M coaster there. I mean, maybe if it were something compact like a dive coaster, but I don't see something like a wing coaster going there. I think the options are a little limited because we're also hearing that they might be saving the Skyrider plot of land for something else, meaning they're pretty much limited to that section of grass right there. Now, it definitely could fit a decent-sized roller coaster, but you have to remember, Vortex is a family coaster, and look how much land that takes up. And that is a very spread out layout, so what we're going to be looking at here is probably something compact. Now, Canada's Wonderland could use a lot. They have a lot of roller coasters, but most of them aren't that good. They're all filler coasters with the exception of Leviathan and Behemoth. So naturally, I think that their next coaster should be something that really is a standout attraction. My first thought when I think of a coaster that Canada's Wonderland should get is an RMC of Wild Beast. But this is going to be a ground up creation, so RMC Wild Beast could happen eventually, but that's not going to be for a little bit. And so a few thoughts are going around. There's been some people that have suggested a Raptor track. I personally think that is an awful idea. Yes, it would fit, but Canada's Wonderland gets tons of attendance. It is a very popular Cedar Fair park. So putting in something as low capacity as a Raptor is an awful idea. As much as a Raptor or some sort of RMC would be cool here. I personally would much rather see a T-Rex. But a T-Rex, I'm also not sure, that might qualify as one of those rides that could be too big. Based off of the land that we have, we can't think really big. We have to think logically. Now, they could get creative and try to wind it around something else. Wind it like over Vortex maybe for a little section. Like, they could, if they really thought outside the box, then they could fit something a bit bigger. But I'm not sure, because also with this plot of land, you also have to remember that there's got to be room for a station, a queue line, maintenance areas. So yeah, there is a lot of land, but they also have a lot to fit in there. Now, another type of ride that could be compact and fit in possibly is some sort of new wooden coaster. Canada's Wonderland does have some woodies, but they aren't that good. I did not think Wild Beast was very good, and Mighty Canadian Mindbuster was not that good either. They're very mediocre, so putting in a modern wooden coaster would be nice here. And that would also open up for future possibilities of RMCing Wild Beast, because it's like, oh, well, we just got a new wooden coaster, so it's not that big of a deal that we're taking out a wooden coaster to RMC it and turn it into something much better. And I think you could fit in something decent here, like a GCI or even a ground-up RMC. You look at something like Goliath at Six Flags Great America, that's a compact plot of land. I think you could fit a Goliath in that space. Reckon it's not long and narrow like the Goliath plot of land is. So yeah, you could fit in some turns there if you wanted. I think it really just comes down to which manufacturers they decide to approach, and then those manufacturers come up with a ride design that fits within that specifications of land, and then they'll kind of take those possibilities, see which one they think would fit best, and that's probably the one they'll go with. If I had to take a guess, that's probably how they'll look at this situation, unless the park already has something in particular in mind, which is also a possibility. I think a new wooden coaster would be nice here, but also they have a lot of steel coasters. But I mentioned earlier, most of them aren't that good, so if they did go with a steel coaster, they'd want to go with something that stands out. Something really thrilling, because they fit that family coaster demographic very well. They don't need any more family coasters. Remember, the last coaster they got was a family coaster. Now, I did mention dive coaster earlier. Cedar Point just got Valraven. I think that you could fit in a Valraven in that plot of land. And that would actually fit decently well within Canada's Wonderland's lineup of attractions. The park has two coasters right now that focus on airtime with these big drops. So yeah, a dive coaster would be another one with this big drop. In my opinion, what the park really needs is a really good looping coaster, and a dive coaster would take you upside down. So that's the advantage there. Assuming we had any plot of land at the park to work with, I wouldn't go with a dive coaster though. I probably would pick something like a wing coaster. I think that's personally the best fit for this park, but I am just skeptical that you could fit a decent sized wing coaster in there without suffering and ending up with like a really short layout. So I'll be interested in seeing what ends up happening here, but definitely keep your eye on Canada's Wonderland. This news personally didn't surprise me. I think a lot of people were expecting that Canada's Wonderland would be one of those parks that would receive a new coaster in 2019. It's definitely their turn. So I could see like Canada's Wonderland being one of the parks that gets a big new coaster along with a place like Worlds of Fun or Dorney Park. But those are just some of my thoughts on what could be coming to Canada's Wonderland in 2019. Let me know if you have any ideas or suggestions. And as soon as we get any more updates on this potential project or any strong rumors about a new coaster type, I'll do a video on that and give some of my thoughts. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.